So I sit here for a few moments and think about what I'm about to share with you. This reading is going to be a little bit longer than my normal ones. And for anybody that's interested in a reading, sit with me, especially if you consider or you have suffered from in the past a broken heart. Okay? Now, I like to share this stuff with folks. I love doing this stuff with folks. I consider myself to be enormously, miraculously blessed. So I like to just record a little video, share a little insight. Hopefully, y'all get something out of it. But I really didn't know where to go with this. I was going to do a Vitamin Joy tarot reading. I was going to do a tarot snapshot. I was going to do, things of that nature, but it didn't feel right. So I just paused and I'm like, okay, Spirit, what do you want me to share with folks? And I want to talk to the people who right now might have broken hearts, who have had broken hearts in the past. Now, knock on wood, my heart hasn't been broken in a very, very, very long time. And that's not the case for everybody. Your heart could be broken from grief and loss. Your heart could be broken from interpersonal relationships and divorces or separations. Your heart could be broken for what's going on in the world on a national level. But I want to start this reading by telling you how important it is that you remember the resiliency of the human heart. Now, I have literally spoken to angels, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do so. And they look at humans from a different perspective. Humans are very beautiful to divine energies, to what you would call gods or goddesses or angels. Humans are very beautiful to them because we are these incredible stories of resiliency, tenacity, courage, and heart. And from their perspective, as far as I can gather, the most beautiful thing about us, and perhaps all of existence, is the perseverance of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And if you're watching this and you're here, whether you believe so or not, you have persevered through all of your worst days. You've survived them all. You have. You survived them all. But I don't want to get caught up in what some people refer to as toxic positivity. There is this, and this is really important in this type of work in this realm. There is something called spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing is leaning into the idea of like being an empath. I have so many issues with that term. Being an empath or calling oneself an empath is a prime example of spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing, using ideas, spiritual concepts to bypass growth. I can have empathy, but it doesn't have to be a disability. You can have empathy, it doesn't have to be a disability. And that idea of being an empath always frames the idea of empathy through a disability. Empathy is a superpower, but we need boundaries. Okay. Spiritual bypassing just leans into this idea of spirituality that does not encourage us to grow or to develop or to evolve. Another form of spiritual bypassing is everything happens for a reason. No, not everything happens for a reason. The people that say that, I want you to walk through a pediatric cancer ward. I want you to go talk to young children dying of cancer and leukemia, and then fucking come back to me and tell me that everything happens for a reason. No. In this 3D world we live in, there's what I call the roulette wheel factor. There's chance, there's statistics, circumstance. Sometimes the ball lands on red and sometimes it lands on black. But when the person gets the random cancer, when the person gets, hit by a car or hurt, it doesn't mean it was meant to be. No. And I think maybe we need to talk about that, because there is this idea in this world, and we get it from several different places, like fairy tales, movies, Hollywood stories, that you show up, you struggle, like Cinderella, you struggle, you work hard, and then the fairy godmother comes out of nowhere and gives you your happily ever after. Okay, well, reality is not that, but we get taught that it is, because we get taught, work hard. It's like the American dream. Work hard, successful, rain down upon you. No. How many people are working hard and still struggling like mad? How many people have worked hard, done the right thing, and had really awful things happen to them? How many people get caught up in the bullshit of, I must be paying for something that I did in a past life? Bad things happen to good people, not because it was dictated by God or spirit, not anything. It's just random chance and circumstance exists in this world, and it's part of the game that we play here on the game board of life. With that idea that good things happen to good people, the inverse of that can come into our minds, because, if I'm a good person, I've worked hard, but I have a bad thing happen to me. Well, God, the world, spirit's punishing me for something. I don't know what it is. I must have done something wrong. I must be a bad person, or I must be paying for something that I did in a past life. No. No. So I want to set the intention as I shuffle my Vitamin Joy tarot cards. I'm going to shuffle 5 times, and I'm going to pull 3 cards that speaks to the people with broken hearts. And if you have that right now, and if your heart's hurting, I see you. I can't fix it for you. All I can do is remind you that, and I know this is a hokey cliche, time does heal most wounds, if not all wounds. And no matter what's going on in our life, for grief or pain, remember the perseverance of the human spirit. Remember you. Remember you being able to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going, especially if you have people in this world to fight for. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, take time. And that's why I like the idea of Vitamin Joy. If you have trauma and pain in your life, you have to get joy as a compensation, as a medicine. The first card that we have for people with a broken heart is this. Temperance. I love this. Temperance is being temperate, but there is this idea that goes along with this of alchemy. And alchemy is finding the ways of taking whatever's bad in our life and trying to squeeze the good out of it. Alchemists of ancient times were people, men mostly, occultists, chemists, who were trying to take lead and turn it into gold. They were convinced there was a way to transform it. So temperance, that's the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is a more conventional deck, has this cup and that idea of like doing the impossible with water and transforming it and changing it and transmuting it. I want you to do your damnedest to dig deep and try to take the gold from the dirt. Especially if you've been victimized. Think about what you can learn from it. I have somebody very dear in my life right now who's been victimized and hurt. And as much as I hold space for them, I'm also encouraging them to go, what did you learn from this? If you learned something from it, it didn't fail. You'll learn from this experience. And I think a lot of grief and heartache can teach us a lot, where we are more appreciating our people, more appreciating our time here, more appreciating what we do have. Even that deeper sense of appreciation is a form of alchemy and temperance. Okay. the other card. Six of Wands. All right. I can see why they're giving us this. The Six of Wands, I created a card that has fishing rods, right? Wands. But I want to show you the classic deck. And this is why, if you take my tarot class, that's coming up in the beginning of August, I will encourage you to start with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And you don't have to stay there, but you should start there. Now, the Six of Wands is about victory. Remember how I said you have survived all of your worst days? As much as you might have a broken heart, you have survived all of your worst days. Well, let me get to the Six of Wands here. It's probably going to be right on the bottom, and show you what this card is all about. Second to bottom. This person has come back from a war. They've won the battle. There's a deep level to this card for me of PTSD. This person's won the battle. Well, now they've got a scar. Now they have to heal it. How do we heal post-traumatic stress disorder? Well, there's all sorts of different ways. But you start by being kind and gentle to yourself. That's what you need to do right now in your life, to be kind and gentle to yourself. The next card, the final card, is the Four of Cups. Whew. The Four of Cups is a card traditionally of being depressed and despondent, of, you know, just sitting in a place of, life's awful. But I want to show you again the traditional card here. Thank you for bearing with me as I dig through it, because there's 78 cards to dig through. The Four of Cups traditionally shows a man sitting at the base of a tree, and he's focused on 3 cups, and perhaps that's 3 cups of the past. And he looks despondent, he looks depressed. And he doesn't see the gift that Spirit is giving them. This is important because I think a lot of times when we experience separation or transition, you know, think of the times in your life where you would have gone through something bad, and after some time, in retrospect, you get to the other side of it and you're like, wow, I am so happy I went through that. It was awful to go through it, but I'm glad because I'm a different, better person, and I ended up in a better place because of it. Sometimes, not all of the time, our broken heart can actually be a necessity to get to where we need to be. But regardless if it's a necessity or not, don't focus on the past. Don't focus on what you didn't have and what you don't have, because Spirit, love, universe, God, what have you, is giving you so much still. You still a beautiful world out there. You still have plenty to live for. Your story is not done. Your story is not done. Don't act like it is. And God, I can't believe I have to say this. And I say this with the utmost respect and love that I can muster, absolutely. But nothing good comes from throwing a pity party for oneself. Nothing good comes from victim mentality. Oh, poor me, poor me. Here's a joke. Here's a funny little part of my past. My last name is Simons. And my mother, boy, she's a funny lady. Whenever, like, I would be growing up and I'd be pissy, or my dad would be pissy, you know, for whatever reason, she'd just say, I got a case of PMS. Poor Mr. Simons. Life is tough, and there are many things that will hurt us. And the big part of this message is to always remember that hearts can heal. Hearts are meant to be broken. Hearts are going to heal. And you are part of the Broken Heart Club right now, but you don't need to stay in this club forever. think for a moment, if somebody in your life is carrying the weight and burden that you are, the regret, the shame, the guilt, the past, the heartache, what have you, think about how you would want to heal them, nurture them, walk them through life. And then I'm going to encourage you to do the same for yourself. Because no matter what you're going through, you still have a heart, you still have a spirit, and there is so much strength and wisdom that comes from within. So, with every ounce of strength you have right now, show up for yourself. Find kindness for yourself. Find patience and grace for yourself. I know that you didn't ask for these awful things to happen to you, to your family, to life, to culture, to society, to the country, to what have you. But you have to remember the resiliency and the tenacity that human spirits have. And you need to remember how beautiful it is for those spirits, you as a spirit, to persevere in the face of adversity. You got this, no matter what. That's your reading. And while it was a little heavy and a little morose, it's what I'm called to share. I think sometimes we do need to speak about these hard things. You can't pretend everything's a bucket of, cherries or roses all the time. Bucket of cherries. Anyways, all my love to you. If you're interested in learning tarot, if you want to learn and dive into it, I am hosting classes August 5th and 6th. Sign up on my website at joshsimons.com.